Hello, I'm Tom McFie, and I've been a chiropractor since 1985. But today I want to share with you how you can control the same power that creates health in the body to create wealth for you and those that you love. First of all, you need to understand that everything you purchase in life you finance. You either give up interest to others so you can use their money, or you spend your money and lose the interest you could have gained. This is called opportunity cost. And we need to teach you how to control that. It works like this. You either have 100% of your money working for you, and it grows, or if you spend your money, then you no longer have it working for you, and it can't grow as efficiently for you. That is why you need to understand economic value added. Now, Coca-Cola used to use other people's capital, and when they did, they had to pay interest on that loan. But when Coca-Cola used their own money, they didn't pay themselves interest, and that made them lose a capital position over a period of time. When they began to pay themselves interest, just like they paid other people the use on their capital, Coca-Cola pulled ahead. And today we know the history of that. That is because Coca-Cola understood what Einstein called the eighth wonder of the world, and that's compound interest. You either pay it to somebody else if you don't understand it, or you understand it and learn to have it work for you. Now here we have your $10,000 at work for you again at 4% over 24 months. And as you can see here, that's $831.43 that you gain over a 24-month period of time. Knowing this, you could now pay somebody else for the use of their money at 6%, and you could still come out ahead, $194 ahead, because of compound interest working for you, not against you. The key to understand how wealth can be generated without working harder at it is by thinking in percentages. This is the way all financial institutions look at money, and this is the way wealthy people look at money. If, for example, a bank promised to give their depositors a 4% rate of return on their deposit, and the bank then lends that money out at 6%, the bank gets to keep 2% of that profit. Now, when the bank lends that money being paid back to them on that first loan out again, maybe they can get 8% on this second loan, and they get to keep all that interest themselves because the first loan that they put out is paying the interest necessary to keep the depositors happy. Now you can see that the bank is making 10% by using the depositors' money, while the depositors are just making 4%, even though it's their money that is being used and lent out over and over again by the bank. This increased interest earned by the bank is called volume of interest, and it has to do with that velocity of money, or how many times the bank can lend that money out in the same time that the first loan is satisfying the interest that the depositors want. Now, you can do the same thing with your money as any financial institution can if you'll just choose to do so in the right product. Now, let's look at some of those products. If we were to design the most perfect product out there, we would want it to be tax deferred. We would want it to be tax free when we take the distributions from it. We would want competitive yields. We would want it to allow us to put as much money in there as we could with no limitations. If there were any other benefits that were possible, we'd want those too. We would want minimal costs associated with our opportunity of using that money, and we would want some safety built into it. We would want guaranteed yields. We would want guaranteed loans if we needed that money. And we would want flexible loan repayments so that when we paid that loan back, we were the ones taking charge of what those payments would be. We'd also like liquidity if we just wanted to shut the whole thing down without penalties. And finally, if we could make the contributions to be before we're taxed on the money, that would be great too. So let's take a look at these 12 ideal conditions, which the following of them would be the most profitable. Well, the first column here shows us that we could do that with a HELOC. And if we borrowed money out of a HELOC, 2 out of 12 of those ideal conditions would apply to us. We could also use a 401k. And again, only 2 out of those 12 ideal places to use your money like a financial institution would apply to your ability to use that money. We could use a certificate of deposit at a local bank. And now we could get up to 4 out of those 12 ideal situations. Money markets, about 5 out of 12. And if we use bonds, we get up to 6. Or a margin account is about 5 out of 12, maybe 6, depending on how you look at it. But the shocker to most people is that the one that gives you the most ideal situation on how to use your money like a financial institution is participating whole life insurance, with 11 out of the 12 working for you instead of against you. Now, most people are very surprised at that fact, that participating whole life insurance, what everyone calls the worst investment in the world, is perhaps the biggest financial tool that you'll have available in your lifetime, allowing you to function like a banker with your own money. And that is because most folks tend to think there are only 2 ways to purchase things in your life. Let's look at this graph. Starting with 0, most people think that the best way to get something that you want in your life is to borrow the money and then pay it back. Well, as you can see, you end up at 0 when you're done there financially. You have what you purchased, but you don't have any money. The second way to do that would be to deny yourself for a period of time as you saved up so that you could make your purchase, but as soon as you made your purchase, notice you're right back down to 0. It's a zero-sum game when you think of only those 2 options. But wealthy people and bankers don't think of just 2 options. They think of how can we do both of these at the same time. So if we'll save up, then make our purchase and pay it back like we did in method number 2, the blue method, then what happens is we create a line of growth. And this growth is the block of gold between the blue graph here, each of those blue blocks. You can see it right here on the graph. And then we can draw a timeline on that, and we see that your capital grows exponentially, just like Coca-Cola's did. You see, let's not be concerned about either or. And let's explore this both concept a little bit further, because you can do both. You don't have to work any harder to make it happen. Let's go back to that $10,000 of capital that was working for you, earning 4%. But now you've got a bill from a credit card for $10,000, and it's charging you 12%. How can you make both work for you at this time? Well, you're going to earn the $831 that 4% has on your $10,000. But how can you pay out that 12% to the credit card and not lose $466.20? That's very easy if you understand the both concept. Have your $10,000 in a participating whole life insurance policy. Now you'll still earn the $831.43, but now as you pay back the creditor, you've borrowed money from your whole life insurance policy, and now when you make the payments back to your life insurance policy, that money is coming back into your insurance company, and it's going to profit you over time. You see, when you pay back to your life insurance company instead of the credit card company, that money goes back to the life insurance company where your policy resides, and it begins working for you and all the other mutual policy holders as well. Over time, it has been shown historically that you will earn more in dividends from that company than what you pay to the general fund of the life insurance company on interest on these kind of loans. This means that instead of you losing $466, you're going to have 2129 working for you instead. That's both. That's powerful, and that's how we help you control your wealth. Which brings us back to the very first part of what I mentioned at the beginning of this presentation, and that is wealth generation. The more wealth that you generate and control, the more people that you can help. And I personally don't believe that there's any such thing as helping too many people in this life. Do you?